1-800-449-8255. The Clark the Shark Show. Recently, I've had a revelation, vision, something, I don't know. Remember the wacky lady, Melissa Caroni? This lady, remember her?
The poll book is completely off. Completely off.
Okay. The poll book, meaning, this lady they were all making fun of on Saturday Night Live and, CNN and MSNBC, Rachel Maddow, they're all making fun of her. But it just hit me right between the eyes that this lady was just some lady that worked for Dominion Voting. She's not a Republican. The reason Rudy Giuliani went to this lady was because the lady was contacting the FBI all on her own and saying, I think there's something wrong in Michigan with the voting. This lady's not a conservative Republican. She's just some dumb lady that sounds like Fran Drescher with an accent. But this lady's so dumb and so stupid, she doesn't even know. This lady don't even know what she accidentally discovered. And it's something that me, Clark the Shark, I have been saying in my videos. The poll book, I always say, check the registered voters against the poll book is a database of all the voters. And this lady was saying something outrageous here. She was saying it's either 30,000 off or 100,000 off, or it's off. And this is something I said years ago before the 2020 election, back in 2018. Even before that, 2017, there was a race between Roy Moore and Doug Jones in Alabama. And I said, something don't look right here. I don't think I used the word poll book, but I said the votes are showing 90% of the Democrats are turning out to vote. In other words, the Hillary Clinton voters are all voting. But the Republicans, to the tune of like 20% is all that's showing, or 30%. It's a really low number. So what happened in Alabama between Doug Jones and Roy Moore, where Roy Moore supposedly lost in 2017, that video that I made long ago, it's aged well, you guys. And this lady, Melissa Caroni, whatever her name is, she's kind of saying by accident, back in the days with Rudy Giuliani here, when she was at this hearing, she's accidentally, almost like she's mocking me, Clark the Shark, the way I described the vote between Doug Jones and Roy Moore in Alabama, 2017, where the Democrat just miraculously won, because like 700,000 or 800,000, I can't say they're really Republican voters, but people who generically voted for Donald Trump in Alabama, about 800,000 of them didn't vote in the 2017 election. Of course, not that many are going to show. What I'm saying is there should be at least like 200,000 of them. And like not one of them, we're talking not even 50,000 of them, not even 20,000 of them voted. And I was just pointing that out. And this lady, Melissa Caroni, I just discovered, listen what she's saying by accident.
I'd say that poll book is off by over 100,000.
Okay, so what she's saying is, just by accident, this is just some dumbass lady. She don't even know what she's doing or what she's saying. She works for Dominion Voting, so she's no friend of Rudy or Republicans or, right-wing guys at Fox News like Tucker or any of that. She's just some bubble-headed lady who accidentally spilled the beans on what's going on in our elections all over the country. The Democrat voters are not only getting out 90% of their vote, but that's not enough, because 90% of their Hillary or Obama vote or Biden vote wouldn't necessarily win an election. So to be sure, she's saying, like what I was saying, me, Clark the Shark, I wasn't really articulating it well, but I was saying Democrats are not only getting out tons of their voters, all of them are voting. Of the registered Democrats, they're getting out like 90% of the whole state. So of the registered Republicans, they're only getting out like 20 or 30%. And this is happening all over the country. It's not like 90% of the Republicans are voting. You go anywhere, you look at Arizona, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Kansas, dude, you could go anywhere, Nebraska, Maine, Oregon. There is some glitch that for some reason, the Republicans only get out 20% of Republican votes. And then they really rely hard on independents to vote Republican and some Democrats to vote Republican. And what happens is our elections are pretty close without about, 60% of the Republicans voting. And this lady accidentally said this.
That poll book? Why don't you look at the registered voters on there?
So, my question then.
Okay, she said, look at this robot. This is probably a Republican too, this guy. But she said there's probably 100,000. And Clark the Shark, in 2017 with Roy Moore, I didn't say 100,000. I said for some reason there's 800,000 people that voted for Donald Trump not voting. And I said we got to check the poll book, the database of voters. We even got to go door to door and knock on doors or call people and say, dude, who did you vote for? Alabama, Arizona, New Mexico, Nevada, Las Vegas, Clark County. You notice how Dominion don't want passwords, servers, and then a judge, some liberal judge will say, I don't want you knocking on doors, bothering people. Remember the Arizona audit when the auditors were like, they won't let us see the passwords for the routers, or that's because it will say like what Melissa Caroni, whatever her name is saying here. Now listen to what this guy says back. It's interesting. Listen.
Is if the
Guess how many? Wait. What about the turnout rate? 120%.
Okay, 100. Okay, so I said in 2017, 6 years ago, I said the turnout rate in Alabama, Doug Jones versus Roy Moore, it's got to be 120% because the Democrats are getting 90% or more of their Hillary Clinton 2016 vote out. Just, a year or so after the 2016 election where Trump won and got all these votes. So what I'm saying, what she's saying, she don't even know she's saying it, is either Republican votes are disappearing electronically or otherwise. But she doesn't even know what she's trying to say here. She's trying to say, for some reason, there is a misappropriation. There is an impossible underestimation and representation of Republican voters. So she don't even know she's saying it. And this guy, Rudy, he don't even know what I know. All these people like Sidney Powell, Rudy, and all these people who are on trial, basically, and they're lawyers in Georgia. Yeah, they're actually putting lawyers on trial now for doing law if you don't agree with an almighty Democrat or socialist. But these two bumbling idiots, Rudy and her, accidentally are kind of discovering what Clark the Shark said happened with Roy Moore versus Doug Jones. And it just hit me right between the eyes the other night as I was kind of laying there asleep when she said this.
Let's let Representative Johnson ask his question. My question here is, why we're not seeing the poll book off by 30,000 votes? That's not.
What did you guys do? Take it and do something crazy to it?
Okay, so she's saying, CNN's like laughing at it. Like this girl's like, oh, it's so funny. And me, Clark the Shark, I'm all, what'd you do, Alabama? What'd you do? Did you take Roy Moore's votes and do something crazy with it? Not this lady. She's like, you're crazy, Sharky. You're like some right-wing nut. Really? Well, let's roll that back one more time. What did this lady say? What did she say? I gotta roll that back again.
Let's let Representative Johnson ask his question. My question here is, why we're not seeing the poll book off by 30,000 votes? That's not the case.
What did you guys do? Take it and do something crazy to it?
Yeah, exactly. He's like, we're not seeing a poll book. Now, the poll book is the database, you guys. This bubble-headed dumbass Fran Drescher accidentally discovered what me, Clark the Shark, has been saying about our elections. And Rudy probably doesn't even
like watching sort of a skit.
remember.
And then when you start to laugh, you realize it's real life.
Think about this, you guys. Think about that one more time. I want to replay that whole thing again.
Completely off.
Off by
That whole-
30,000?
I'd say that poll book is off by over 100,000. That poll book.
Oh, Rudy's like
Why
nodding.
don't you look at the registered voters on there?
So
Okay, so why don't you look at the registered voters on there? She says to the Republican hearing guy at the legislature, or whatever the fuck this is, this hearing in Michigan. So the lady that works for Dominion, not a Republican, she works for a voting system. She accidentally discovered cheating. And she's such a weirdo, crazy whack job of a lady, you know, with the Fran Drescher like accent, and it's just so funny. She's just a Saturday Night Live material all the way to make fun of this lady. But she is also like a accidental, inadvertent genius because she accidentally.
my question then is, if the
That's how many. Wait. What about the turnout rate? 120%.
Yeah. Okay. So what she's saying is 100. Now a lot of you laugh out there. You're like, oh, so right wing conspiracy. All those wacky right wingers. You guys are just so wacky. So, but this is what I said in 2017. I've even said this before 2017. Okay, before this bimbo and this retard, these two. They don't even know what they've stumbled on here in Michigan. This is an old video now from 2 years ago. It's like long ago now. These two people, Rudy and her, accidentally realized the Clark the Shark video from 2017, Doug Jones versus Roy Moore, where Doug Jones, the Democrat, won a Senate seat in a dark ruby red state, Alabama. And me, Clark the Shark, I sent up a red flag. And I said, how is it possible that they're turning out 120%? Dude, I know it's fucking weird and strange that I, Clark the Shark, and her and him would all accidentally stumble upon something and we'd all agree. Remember too how they were counting the votes in Atlanta, Fulton County, and then they kept counting them after the poll monitors, not just the Republican, but the Democrat poll monitors were out of the room for whatever reason. It doesn't matter why they were out of the room. They could have left on their own, but you can't vote when the monitors aren't there. And this happened not just in Atlanta. This happened in Detroit, Philly, happened all over the country. But that isn't what this lady, Melissa Caroni, discovered. She accidentally discovered this.
let's let Representative Johnson ask his question. My question here is, why we're not seeing the poll book off by 30,000 votes? That's not the case.
What did you guys do? Take it and do something crazy to it?
Yeah, what did you do? What did you election officials do with the? We're not seeing a poll book off by 30,000 votes. She said it's off by 100,000, and she would know, not you. She works for Dominion. So you, dude, on the hearing panel, whoever you are, Michigan guy, and all these panels where Rudy went all over the country, it's people like this lady, Melissa Caroni. They're the ones who really know. No one else. Because she's the only one in the fucking room that works for Dominion. And then, of course, you know, they got to make fun of the lady. She talks like Fran Drescher. Who wouldn't make fun of her? You know, but she accidentally discovered that Democrats are getting out all their voters, plus maybe 20% more, just in case. And she also accidentally found out that the Republican votes are way down. If she says the poll book's off by 30,000 or 100,000, that means that's the voter database. This lady from Dominion kind of accidentally discovered what Clark the Shark said in 2017 about Doug Jones and Roy Moore election. I may have even accidentally, I was just fucking around making a video, you guys, but go find that video I made and check it out. It is too weird. It's almost like I was Melissa Caroni in Alabama. It is so weird.
I mean, this is like watching some sort of a skit.
Yeah, it's like a skit. Oh my God, it's like a skit. Yeah, you know, it's a skit, you guys, when they steal elections. You know, it's funny, but it's not funny because democracy disappears in darkness. And my 2017 video, Doug Jones versus Roy Moore, Alabama, U.S. Senate election, where the Democrats stole that one. Well, that was very primitive back then. I don't think the Democrats were really confident in 2017 that they could steal an election, but they did it in Alabama. Roy Moore doesn't even know he lost. He was like contesting it like, this is voter fraud. They're busting in voters. He doesn't even know it's bigger than that. It's electronic. It's not even mail-in votes. It's databases being wiped out. Poll books. You guys, poll book. Remember those two words. Poll book, a database of voters versus the roster and the people who show up and sign on the day. And then you know how the envelope just disappears where they sign it. We used to actually sign our ballots back in Torrance in the 1980s.